So first up, look at these prawns. We've got 6 of these bad boys.
We're going to add some big flavour with a marinade.
So all I need is 2 sprigs of rosemary. That's all you need. And by the way, rosemary and shellfish, they're not thought of as being like best friends, but I'm telling you, it works an absolute treat. Just give it a good bash up. You know, it's going to help you use less salt because you've got loads more flavour going into your food. Then we're going to hit it up with 2 cloves of garlic, okay?
Garlic is a source of vitamin B6, great for the immune system. Next, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, followed by saffron.
Just a subtle little hit of that is going to give you the most wonderful sort of like barbecue vibe going on. And then a little pinch of saffron. And it gives you the most incredible colour. So that goes in. Now, one thing's for sure is that saffron requires infusion to pull out all of that beautiful flavour. So just a little swig of water. So kind of in essence, we're making a tiny little cup of bonkers tea. So just drizzle in 1 tablespoon of good, healthy, extra virgin olive oil. Look at that, the colour is just amazing. That, my friends, is one hell of a marinade right there. So you could use that on pork, chicken, all sorts of skewers and wonderful things. But this is going to go on our prawns. Now, prawns, inside this beautiful prawn is a little vein that we want to get rid of. Just get some cooking scissors and just cut all the way down the back. It's very simple. It opens up that area and then we can pull out that vein very, very simply. Just like that. And of course it makes it cook quicker, it allows flavour to get in, and also it splays open like a beautiful kind of butterfly prawn.
In longevity hotspots, they tend to choose proteins lower in saturated fats, like seafood. Reducing red meat in your diet will help lower cholesterol and keep your weight down.
Now the prawn is a fantastic source of protein, really, really high in vitamin B12. Now the reason that's a really important one is because it's great for your nervous system and your immune system, so it's fantastic to get your hit of vitamin B12. We are going to just get our hands in there now. Look at that. That is going to be a joy to cook and to eat.
I'm taking inspiration from our friends in Costa Rica and trying to get more fruit into your life. We might not have the Marinon or the Spanish lime at our disposal, but a good old orange is a fantastic source of vitamin C.
Toss those also in the marinade. It's such a picture. Such a picture. I mean, look at that. Incredible colours. You know it's going to be good. It's going to cook so well together in the pan, or you could even roast it. So, moving on.
While your prawns marinade, pour boiling water over the whole wheat couscous. Cover and set aside for 10 minutes to fluff up.
Next, veggies. This dish is one of the most exceptional ways to effortlessly get your 3 of your 5 a day.
This veg will add nutrients and fibre to the dish. I'm using peppers, courgettes and asparagus, but use whatever's in season. A variety of colours tend to mean a wider variety of vitamins, so don't be afraid to mix things up.
Last but not least, 1 or 2 chilies, depending on how hot they are. Always nice to get a bit of heat going on in there, but subtle heat. We don't want to blow anyone's head off. It's just a nice little hum.
These fiery favourites are super high in vitamin C and also contain anti-inflammatories.
Let's pour that into our bowl. And we now want to flavour all of this with a lovely, simple, clean dressing. It's kind of St. Clement style, oranges and lemons.
Squeeze the juice of 1 orange and 1 lemon over the couscous.
More vitamin C, more goodness. The sweetness of the orange will balance the acidity of the lemon. And you could add olive oil if you wanted to, but this is fat-free. We're not going to go into the olive oil on this particular one.
Add some finely chopped mint and mix it up.
Use a spoon, but I like to use my personal spoons, which are my hands. Get in there. Look at that.
Time to cook the marinated prawns and oranges.
Every last bit of juice, we want it all in there. As it cooks, the prawns will start to change colour. Have a little toss around. They won't take very long to cook at all. Move everything around so it has full contact with the pan. Can you see this prawn butterflying out? See how it's just opening up as it's cooking? So now we've got nice colour on both, we can kind of toss this around, and that's what we're talking about. Really nice, gnarly prawns.
And the orange slices will now have a lovely, fragrant, caramelised flavour as well.
So let's plate up, guys. I love, by the way, serving this as a share plate, and then we can go around with those amazing prawns. They're so beautiful. The colour's extraordinary. When you do finally squeeze the juice out, that's what we want. Beautiful, sweet, gorgeous, caramelised juiciness. Get all the flavour out of there and pour that over your prawns. Wowzers. Got it all over me. Yeah, the mess has started. You wait till the end of this. It's going to be everywhere. So, we have nearly all the elements of perfection here. We've got our carbohydrates, that lovely whole wheat couscous. We've got amazing protein in the form of those prawns. We've got veggies galore, citrus galore, herbs galore, and to finish off all of those food groups, dairy.
Topped with little dollops of mild, cooling yoghurt, a sprinkling of mint leaves, and finally juicy jewels of pomegranate.
Those little capsules of sweetness. Imagine eating the sort of spicy, saffrony, sort of beautiful prawns and some veg, and then that pop of sweetness from that. I mean, look, it's such an incredible colour. So just grab it, put it between your fingers like that, and from a height, celebrate mess, because the mess is going to start now. Just get it amongst it from a height, and just do a Jackson Pollock, mate. You want to create mess. There you go.
Warmly spiced prawns on a bed of rainbow-flecked couscous, and that all-important vitamin C-rich fruit. And like my Costa Rican friend Huber said, why buy something synthetic when you can eat something so delicious? Not bad, rolling in at 572 calories per portion.
So all we have to do now is eat it. And there ain't no polite way to do this. Right, here we go. More juice over the top. Be prepared for a mess. Head off. Get the shell off. Really delicious flavour. Veggie, couscous. It's a complete celebration of everything that's good for you in one dish. What a joy. What a joy.
A rich, hearty superfood black bean stew with bold, smoky chili flavours, topped off with a fresh zingy salsa, rocking in at only 532 calories a portion.
The thing I like about this is it's 485 a day, it's delicious, it's comforting but very, very, very healthy. It's going to be based around veggies and you're going to see so much colour.
All the healthy hotspots I've visited eat a mainly plant-based diet, so we could all do with trying to eat a little less meat.
I never want you to eat veggie dishes because you think you should, or you have to, or it's healthy. I want you to eat them because they're delicious, first and foremost, and then all of the nutritional benefits just follow behind it.
Firstly, we're going to roast off some veg.
So here we got butternut squash, absolutely brilliant, love it. So I just want to carefully half it. Now, it's round, it's got a little skin on it, and if you're not careful, this can be dangerous. So please, 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 be very careful. Tip of the knife goes into the half, go straight down to the bottom, and use your weight to carefully take it down like that. Swivel it around, and we do exactly the same.
For this recipe, we only need half, so take out the seeds and cut into 3-centimetre chunks. Then pop into a roasting tray with a pinch of salt and pepper and a teaspoon of ground coriander.
They're coriander seeds, ground up. You can get it in the supermarkets. You can get the seeds and pound them up yourself. Unbelievable with squash.
Add in just a teaspoon of oil.
Get your hands in and just have a little toss up. Notice the skin is on the squash. The skin for me is the best bit. It goes deliciously sweet and candy-like, but also it's where a lot of the nutrients are and the fibre. So really, really good. And squash specifically is really good for vitamin A, so it's good for your eyesight and eye function.
Slice and add 3 peppers to a separate roasting tray.
I really love peppers. Peppers, full of vitamin C, and of course when you roast them, they go outrageously sweet and gorgeous.
Season with salt and pepper, then add a teaspoon of smoked paprika for a big smoky flavour and a teaspoon of oil.
We're going to massage those flavours, seasonings into this. Look at that. That's flavour right there.
Put both trays of veg into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, for around 30 to 35 minutes.
Get yourself a pan on. I like using a nice casserole style pan. We're going to big up more veg.
To kickstart the stew, peel and roughly chop 2 onions, but reserve a quarter for the salsa later.
1 tablespoon of oil into the pan, just put it to one side, like that. Then we want to use bay leaves, these little bad boys. We want to get in there with 4, 5 or 6. Just get them in to the oil and they'll start to slowly fry, release their natural oils. They smell incredible and they'll give the base of the oil a sort of nice little perfume.
Crush in 4 cloves of garlic.
Then we can go in with our onions. Normally in cooking, you'd want to drench it in oil. And every tablespoon of oil, you're sort of pushing another 120, 130 calories. So let's just keep it clean. Let's be restrained. And what I want to do is really help the natural sweetness of the onion come out without loads and loads of fat. So a lovely way to do it is just take a little cup of water and just stop that frying. That little splash of water sort of stops the hard frying. It sort of dissipates the oil around every single little bit of onion. So it takes a long way. Also, it's sharing all the flavors. And as it naturally sort of cooks down and evaporates, then you've softened the onion to the point where we can turn it right down. Right? And that's the key. With big flavor and vegetables, it is all about intensification and concentrating natural flavors. So roasting does that. And frying slowly does that.
When the onions have softened and intensified, add some balsamic vinegar and turn the heat back up to full whack.
I'm going to add the kind of hero of this dish really, because the powerhouse of this dish is the black beans.
Put 2 tins of black beans and juice into the pan. Half fill both tins with water, swish it about and add back in.
So look, give them a nice stir here, bring it to the boil.
So that's the base for the stew done. Next, I need those gorgeous roasted veg.
The spices, they've stuck to it. So that's real flavour that we've got there. So let's just scrape that into our pan. We'll put in there. And then with the peppers, exactly the same. If I just put a little swig of water in there, that is all caramelisation, sweetness, that's all the juice of the peppers. That's almost like gravy. One more ingredient before we let that simmer, okra. Probably something that a lot of people haven't tried before. You can get it in the supermarkets, you can get it in the markets. This is absolute classic South America, the Caribbean, really, really good. What I love about it is if you finely slice it, it's kind of like a natural thickening agent, so you can put it in stews and soups and stuff, and it just makes it absolutely gorgeous.
Add 100 grams of okra to the stew. Turn down the heat and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, time to make an amazing, colourful salsa. Salsas are just dreamy when it comes to contrast. It's going to be like light and shade.
Finely chop the quarter of onion, your coriander, then de-seed and finely chop 2 tomatoes, along with 1 chilli.
Then it's lime time. Just give it a little roll with your body weight. And there's another sort of great excuse for flavour. If you get one of these fine graters, they're a really great tool for superfood everyday eating, because what they do is allow you to extract flavour where maybe you wouldn't have got it before.
Add the zest and juice of a lime and bring it all together.
So salsa done. Look at that. An absolute picture. Time to serve up the best bit.
Serve your smoky bean stew with some brown rice, a dollop of yogurt and a sprinkle of coriander.
And then, of course, our lovely salsa. Now it's had a little time just to sort of share the flavours, but a nice hit of that salsa. It's all about that. Let's not be shy. Right in there like that. And some of the juice, just pour that over the yogurt. Gorgeous. It's a really humble dish, but it's exciting. It's an absolute superfood classic. 4 of your 5 veg a day. You've got all of those elements you need in your dinners. You've got your carbs, you've got your dairy, you've got your protein, you've got your veggies. Beautiful. Let's try it. Oh, it's delicious. Investing that time in the vegetables just makes them sing. You've got to give that a try. So let me show you how to make a tomato sauce, but guys, not a normal tomato sauce. Let's make a superfood tomato sauce.
Pour in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on a medium heat, 2 sliced cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and fry the lot for a minute. Into that aromatic mix with onions, celery, carrots, courgettes, red peppers, leeks and butternut squash, skin on. It'll cook down nicely.
In the Oliver household, this 7-veg tomato sauce is pretty much always in our freezer. And we use it for simple pasta dishes, spaghetti penne. You can put it in stews, you can put it in curries. You get the drift, right? I'm gonna just, on a medium heat, cook it down. And after 20 minutes, it looks like this. So this is just pure natural flavour. The sweetness comes out. And you've earned that through patience. So, you know, this isn't Monday to Friday, I'm busy running all over the place. For me, weekend, put it on, get on with other stuff, do whatever you gotta do. We're gonna add 4 tins of tomatoes. Now, a quick tip on tomatoes, you can get passata, it's fine. You can get chopped tomatoes, they're doing you a favour. But if you want the A-grade tomatoes, always buy plum tomatoes, okay?
We need about 2 tins of water, so half fill the empties and swirl around the remaining juices. Simmer for 25 minutes or until the sauce is reduced.
At this point, we've added no salt at all, so let's have a taste. Now, salt's an interesting one, right? Because we don't want to have too much salt in our diet. But by committing to cooking from fresh, on average, your salt consumption is going to be way down. At this point, we want to season with salt, and of course, this is going to have way less salt than many of the pre-bought sauces that you're going to get.
And that's it. Just cool it, blitz it smooth, and Bob's your uncle. Bag it up, squeeze out the air, and follow me to the freezer.
This kind of stuff weirdly makes me happy. I think I'm getting old, okay? What we've got is we'll freeze these down, and then you've almost got like a little library.
And you've got an instant sauce any day of the week, superfood, super fast.
Now the question is, what do you do with it? And I've got an amazing recipe that my family love.
These perfect pasta parcels smothered in mouth-watering 7-veg sauce have got 3 of your 5 a day and only 536 calories a portion.
This is something that is just a lovely thing to do at the weekend. In a way, it's a kind of another batch cook recipe because you can do a batch and freeze ravioli and cook from frozen, and the Italians do it and it's brilliant.
Get yourself 300 grams of fine ground Italian flour. Make a well in the middle and fill it with 3 free-range eggs. And that's all you need.
I do this with my little kids and we have so much fun, but it's basically making edible Play-Doh.
You can whiz the dough together in a food processor, but I prefer to use my hands. Knead it till really smooth on a floured surface. Cling film it and let it rest for about half an hour. Now, let's have a look at the filling, starting with the butternut squash. Dry roast in the oven for an hour at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit.
And then we've got ricotta here, which is 1/3 of the fat of a hard cheese. So this is delicious fresh, but I've got a nice little tip for you. What I did was put that ricotta in the squash halfway through. And what happens, you can see it just tightens up and it becomes deeply crumbly.
Lose the skin and seeds and add 15 grams of finely chopped basil. Mash this tasty trio together and season it.
So there you go. That is, my friends, your filling. So let's do the fun bit. We've got the dough here. Of course, using a machine is kind of easier, but just to show that you can do it with a rolling pin.
Break off some dough on a floured surface, get it about 1 millimetre thick and about 12 centimetres wide. And that'll hold a heaped teaspoon of filling nicely. Brush on some water and seal.
Squeeze out the air, and that is your basic ravioli. You can just use a crinkle cutter and you're gonna have that. Just beautiful.
So with the dough you've made, you'll probably get about 24 parcels of goodness.
You're always going to do a couple of scruffy ones. Don't get stressed about it. You're going to do some beautiful ones too.
I'm going to cook them gently in boiling salted water for about 2 minutes and let them have a dip in the 7-veg tomato sauce.
For me, this kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. It's the kind of food of my childhood. The only difference is my ravioli came out of a tin, and it probably wasn't balanced and it definitely wasn't a superfood, but this is.
Let's top these champs off with rocket, parmesan and a delicate drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Now that's what I call a plate of joy. With 3 of your 5 fruit and veg a day and only 536 calories a portion, super healthy family food with enough in the freezer to dine another day.
Oh, this is so heavenly this weekend. Just give it a go. You're gonna love it. Oh.
Okay, dinner time, guys. And I have a great one here for you. I've taken an Italian classic and given it my superfood twist. This chicken and sweet potato cacciatore is a hunter's stew. Rich and satisfying, this hearty meal will fill you up with the good stuff and all at only 421 calories per portion.
I bet you never thought it could be super healthy and balanced and tick all of those boxes. Yes, I've done it for you. First up, we want some smoky pancetta. Look, it's tiny, thin, little slithers like that. Will it make a difference? Yes, it will.
Slice it up into little matchstick-sized pieces. Then heat a tablespoon of olive oil on a medium heat, and in it goes.
And as it starts getting crispy, I've got some rosemary here, just a couple of sprigs. I've got some bay leaves. This makes all the difference. And herbs do so well in oil. That's how they transmit all their flavour.
Next, finely slice 4 cloves of garlic.
Instead of using loads and loads of oil and the calories going up and up and up, just clever little tips like angling it like that. You can cover all of those bits of garlic. The smell, by the way, is already incredible. We can go in with the 4 chicken thighs here. 1 nice thigh per person. You've got the bone there for flavour. Just by getting skinless thighs, you're reducing the saturated fat straight away.
We're going to roughly chop an onion into eighths. Onions are a simple way to pack in flavour without loading up the calorie content. Then, roughly slice the white of a leek, split the green part, wash it thoroughly, and finely chop it. Leeks are a great source of vitamin K, which helps bone strength.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add something that's not in the classic recipe, just a little bit of chilli. I only want a half, okay? So I'm just going to split this chilli all the way down, and some parts of Italy where I've had this classically done, of course they wouldn't have originally had chilli, but they had black peppercorns and they go quite heavy on it. So I'm just going to kind of reenact that a little bit, and I'm going to put a half in, and the point is this, I'm not going to chop it up so everyone gets it, but I'm going to lose it in the bottom of the pan, and it's just going to be this lovely little hum that adds character to the whole dish. And then at the end, you can take it out, and if you want to chop it up and put it back in, you can, and it's a nice little extra. Okay, so this is softening up beautifully, and that softening is going to create sweetness and flavour and depth. So investing in this part of the stew is really, really important.
I want to add some chestnut mushrooms, so I'm trimming 100 grams of them.
So with the mushrooms, what I'm going to do is just take the end off like that, and I just find that just by removing that, you get this beautiful, beautiful sort of cross-section of the mushroom. And when that's on the top of the casserole, it just gets gorgeous, and I love it. And then these kind of offcuts and trim, there's so much flavour in there. So we just chop it up, throw it in, and it'll get lost in the sauce and be absolutely fantastic. And then on to the sweet potato. I'm just going to cut off little inch chunks like this. And the reason I'm just cutting them quite chunky like this is I want nice, meaty, chunky bits. And as that roasts and kind of stews, it's just going to be less like a vegetable, more like a protein, more like a meat. Let's turn the heat up now, and let's get some sizzle on. And that's when you want to add about 250 mils of some decent Chianti. And if it's good enough to drink, it's good enough to go in here. It's important now to season with a little salt and pepper, and then we'll just adjust it a little bit later. And then one thing that I nearly forgot, 8 olives, okay? Just 8, that's all you need. And I think sometimes we think about olives almost the wrong way. So olives, when you buy them, don't get the ones with the holes in, right? They're salty, they won't taste very nice, and they're never that good, okay? Get the ones with the stones in, different story. And then all you have to do is just squash them with your thumb, and we'll take that pip out, and the flavour's extraordinary. It's kind of not in there to be an olive, it's a sort of seasoning. Go in with 2 tins of tomatoes, and once you've done that, let's half fill these tins and get all the last sort of remnants out of the tin. but also we do need a little bit of water as well. And then just break those tomatoes up, and then we're just gonna give it one last little stir. Just look at that. That is beautiful. That's an amazing one-pot dish. You know, 10, 15 minutes just to put it together.
Now that's going in the oven at 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 degrees Fahrenheit or gas mark 5 for an hour.
I'm very excited about this. Look at that. First up, look at the way I cut that sweet potato. Just by having a big chunk, it's cooked differently. If you chop it up small, it goes like something you'd see in a soup. But like that, it's just kind of substantial and gorgeous. And you can see that little bit of effort on the mushroom just looks super pretty. Got some lovely, simply cooked seasonal greens. Anything you like, anything you can get your hands on is always nice with a lovely stew like this. I'm gonna serve it with a slice of bread, but remember, you know, this is beautiful with rice, this is beautiful with polenta, pasta, mashed potato, so kind of take it your own way. That is proper food right there.
This really is an easy-to-make, delicious dinner packed full of the good stuff. Bigging up that humble hero that we need to get onto, the sweet potato.
Let's get in there. First of all, let's just check the chicken. Has it gone? Gorgeous and tender. Yes, it has. Look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. Lovely tender chicken. So good. I like getting the old bread and just using it to mop up all the little bits, the sauce. Super good. An apple a day really could keep the doctor away, and I'm going to use apples in the next recipe with one of their best mates, pork.
This family favourite dinner of pork meatballs, apple gravy, protein-packed cannellini beans and fibre-rich oats will fill you full of the good stuff for just 591 calories per serving.
We're not going to buy mincemeat, we're going to control things. We're going to use a beautiful cut of pork. This is the fillet of pork, it's widely available, it's really lean. It's lovely to use your meat and mince it yourself because you know what's in the mincemeat. And traditionally, mincemeat dishes, you know, meatloaf, burgers, meatballs, are kind of around 15 to 20% fat. And we want to kind of take it from an indulgent dish that's gorgeous, of course, to something that's superfood friendly.
Slice your 450 grams of pork fillet into chunks. Add a 400 gram tin of drained cannellini beans, great for packing in protein and fibre into your day.
It's really good at stretching meat, and it's a great carrier of flavour, and it makes the meatballs light and delicious.
Add 50 grams of oats. These whole grain beauties are good for your heart, lowering your blood pressure and keeping your cholesterol levels healthy. Add half a bunch of mint to the mix, and finally a teaspoon of whole grain mustard.
And we'll whiz that up. I just want to pulse it. I don't want this to be a puree, okay? Pulse, 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 keep an eye on it. And once it kind of looks like a nice coarse mincemeat, we're ready to go. And I'm happy with that. I'm going to fill a little dish up with some water. Whenever you're doing your meatballs, having a little bowl of water to keep your hands wet really helps you not getting messy and sticky.
This amount of mixture should give you 20 meatballs, about the size of a ping pong ball.
For me, this is where superfood comes into its own because it's a way of thinking, it's a way of putting things together. It's about it being guaranteed, safe, good. What does good look like? Of course we want cakes, of course we want indulgence. That's what life is all about, and we don't want to take any of that away, but we do need to have good as well. And sometimes good can pretend to be good and it's not, or good ends up being bad. And if it's bad every day, everything goes pear-shaped. So for me, to be given a dish like this that feels naughty and is actually really, really good for you and your family and your friends, happy days. Let's have it. Right, there's 20 beautiful balls right there. Let's start the cooking, people.
Get your pan on a medium-high heat, add a tablespoon of olive oil and throw in 4 of your meatballs.
Let's break it up. Beautiful. I'm going to make what they would call in America a dirty style gravy. Now don't be put off by the name. What it means is putting mincemeat into the gravy so it's got true flavour and it's a bit gnarly and rustic. I love it.
Get 2 red onions, peel them, quarter them, and they're going in the pan.
Give the pan a little shake. Beautiful.
Next, 2 apples. Cut Cut them into quarters and core them, but don't peel them. That's where the best stuff is.
With the apples, obviously, we've got those pectins that are so fantastic at controlling your cholesterol, which is great.
Add the apples to the pan, and after a couple of minutes, once they've softened up a bit, it's time to add a really strong flavour hit.
We're going in with Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon. And so many flavours there. Beautiful, great with pork. Then we're going to go in with mustard. A nice heaped teaspoon of whole grain mustard.
Add 2 tablespoons of wholemeal flour, which carries almost 3 times the fibre of white. Season it up, and then you want a litre of good quality chicken stock and bring it to the boil.
You can see it's all thickening and starting to look gorgeous. Now is a time to just plop those lovely shiny balls into that lovely gravy. In original meatball recipes, of course you need the fat to make it juicy and sumptuous. I get it, and I love it. But on a good day, and this is a good day, a healthy day, totally balanced meal, we're gonna cheat around it by using the porridge yolks, by using the beans, by building a kind of really moist environment, which is a gravy, to cook it.
Pop in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 Fahrenheit.
And in 20 minutes, that liquid's gonna cook down. It's gonna be so comforting, so gorgeous. Wonderful, wonderful pot-roasted meatballs. Nice.
Then take them out and grate over 30 grams of cheddar, enough to look beautiful and add some amazing flavour.
And then I'm gonna use these beautiful seeded wholemeal buns.
After 3 more minutes back in the oven, it's ready.
So guys, look at that. Come and have a look. This is a real family classic. So let's just plate up a portion. Get your nice roll in there. Just tear that open.
To finish this off, I've got a lovely simple salad of rocket, watercress and fresh mint, all dressed with lemon juice.
Let's get in there. Let's have a little go. Look at that. Gorgeous. The harmony of the onions and the apple is brilliant. You know, often when you lower fat in meatballs, it goes dry. Horrible. Not here. We've gained and we've gained not just flavour, but nutrition. As far as meatballs go, they are really, really good. Go and have a go at those.